So here I am with our trusty dog on a lunchtime run, going through the woods here on a nice trail, and wanted to share that there's lots of edible stuff to be found here as well. So you can see some blackberries. They're not quite ripe, but pretty soon they will be. And you can find all sorts of stuff like this. There's lots of cherry trees and sour cherry trees, wild cherries to be found as well. You can see one growing right here. And there's lots of other ones to be found too. There's also rosehips. I'll show you some when I get close to those. And yeah, we'll see what else I can recognize as I go along. So here's a very large and beautiful wild sour cherry tree growing right by the side of the path here, the trail. I've eaten off of this tree many times as I've run by. The fruit is a lot smaller than you would get like in a cherry that you would see in the store, but it's quite delicious. Has a little bit of a bitter taste, but mostly sweet and tart, so I actually enjoy them quite a bit. They're maybe about the size of like your pinky nail, and very dark black, so you know they're full of flavonoids and antioxidants and what have you. So yeah, another nice one. Alright, what am I talking about when I say to be conscious? As I'm running up here, coming along the fire road, what do I notice on the ground? A bunch of stuff that looks like food. It's a little cherry. These are called Cornelian cherry dogwood, I believe, if I remembered the name correctly. They grow on these little mid-sized trees. Tons of fruit on this one. You can see them. They get ripe when they're like really dark, and they pretty much should almost fall off by themselves just from touching them. Like this one seems to be pretty okay over here. This one here. Let's see if it comes off easily. Yep, it did. So this one is going to be ripe, and I'm trying to get that in focus. This one is going to be ripe. There's a big seed inside of it, so there's not like a huge amount of flesh on these, but they're very tasty, super sweet when they're ripe, very bitter when they're not ripe. Sour. They're very sour. Tiny little bit bitter, but more sour than anything. These are delicious. I've collected a bunch of these in the past and pushed them through the strainer with like a spoon, and I froze it, made almost like an ice cream kind of thing out of it, or like a sorbet. You can just cook with them, put them in pies as fillings with other things that are maybe a little bit sweeter and not as tart. Really good, really nutritious, lots of vitamin C, and yeah, they just grow all over the place. So look out for things like this. And yeah, let me eat this one and I'll show you the seed, just so you can see what the seed looks like. I don't know if that's in focus. It doesn't seem like it is. There it is. It's a pretty big seed, but anyway, really tasty, and I just wanted to share that with you. Okay, another edible berry to share with you. These are rosehips. They grow on these really prickly vine type bushes. They have like nice little flowers, and they become these berries. Now these are not ripe yet. You want them all to be really ripe, red, deep red like this, or even more. And then you really kind of want a cold snap to hit them, and then you pick them. And inside you're going to find almost like a jam-like consistency, a very sweet flesh. And these can be used for soaking into just as is. Once you've collected them, you dry them out, you soak them in water for making tea. Have super high vitamin C content, or you can press the flesh from inside and then separate that out and use it for making jams that are really delicious. I've never made that before. I believe the process to be very labor intensive, but yeah, at some point maybe I'll give that a shot too. But for tea and stuff like that, they're really great. Really high vitamin C content. Great thing to pick in the fall, so you have it for the winter. So yeah, just wanted to share that too. Alright, as I'm nearing back towards home, just wanted to kind of wrap things up and say how much I enjoy being out in nature, and really excited to be learning about all these edible plants and berries and what have you. Sorry for the wind. And yeah, just did a quick loop through here, in the woods, and then came back down this way, and yeah, found a lot of stuff to eat. So not everything, of course, was in season right now. The cherries are obviously springtime, The blackberries can be late summer. The Cornelian cherries are late, like basically either really late summer or early mid-fall, depending on elevation and other things. The rosehips definitely late fall, and yeah, it's pretty cool to be able to find stuff that you can get through different times of the year, and always have some nutritious, vitamin-rich, nutrient-dense food. So yeah, just wanted to share that. Remember to be conscious and conscientious when choosing your next meal. Bye.